You're in Braves country.
Good evening, Braves country. How the hell are you? As we're getting set up here on the PSF app along with YouTube. So either way, if you got any questions or comments, please fire them away. We are at the deadline, y'all. It is officially deadline day. The deadline to make any offer to pick up the options. You're going to start seeing names fly through here in a second, and we wanted to be live for it, so we're going to react to it here. Over the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to dive into what should be a pretty eventful day. We do have news in case you're just getting off work and you're like, what the hell is going on with my Atlanta Braves? We have got news that the Braves are going to pick up Charlie Morton's option. That was announced a little less than an hour ago. The Atlanta Braves, are you sitting down for this, y'all? Are you sitting down? Bye-bye, Eddie Rosario. They have declined the $9 million option. There is no club buyout. How about that? And you got to love that going forward if you are a Braves fan. Look, he did some great things for Braves. And you can't deny that. I'm going to change the background here a little bit. You can't deny the fact that Eddie Rosario did some great things for the Atlanta Braves. But at the same token, Eddie Rosario had seen better days. And I predicted that he was going to be gone. I'm glad to see that it actually took place. And just as I had predicted, also declined options. Kirby Yates, Colin McHugh, and then we already knew about Brad Hand. So a ton of money is going to be open. Now they're going to be paying Charlie Morton $20, and we understand that. But you're talking about $9 million for Eddie Rosario. I was a little surprised by the Kirby Yates because they're going to have to pay a 1.25. And everything considered, Yates ate a lot of innings. But they did decline Yates. Then you've got Colin McHugh, that's $6 million. Brad Hand, $6.5 because they're going to have to pay the $500,000 buyout. Would have been a $7 million deal. We knew that wasn't going to happen. So all in all, you were talking about opening up roughly just off of those four guys alone. You're talking about opening up around 25 to 27 million, depending on how you look at it. Jackson Stevens, who was outrighted to AAA, he has elected free agency. And we'll wait to see if there's any other news coming in here. That one, I hate to see that one. I really like Jackson Stevens. I like what he can bring to the Braves. Maybe we'll see him back in a Braves uniform. But good luck to him. And look, good luck to all of them. Even good luck to Eddie. I was just tired of watching Eddie give us a half-assed performance. I'm so glad to see that he's gone. And there are going to be guys out there that they're going to be able to go out and they're going to be able to go out and make moves. And they're going to be able to expand what's going on with the roster. But we're going to look at also, because this is coming in hot and heavy, the other teams. Who else is going to be out there, right? Because you're going to have a lot of deals out there. By the way, this is just little old school Braves stuff. Christian Bethancourt, if you remember him, the Cleveland Guardians have claimed him off of waivers from the Tampa Bay Rays. And not that that's a big deal, but it is Braves newsworthy. If you're just joining us, Eddie Rosario, he gone. The Braves have claimed left-handed reliever Angel Perdomo off of waivers from the Pirates. So we'll continue to keep this updated as it comes in. See what else do we have here. The Phillies have issued a qualifying offer for Aaron Nola. No big surprise there. And what that means is if someone signs him other than the Phillies, they're going to get a draft pick for him. And I would think that he's going to turn down the qualifying offer because he's going to be looking for a long-term deal himself. So everything coming in hot and fast here as Braves Country. Hot Stove, we're coming your way live on Monday nights, 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you're listening on WQEE, you'll hear it on Tuesdays. And we're also doing Braves Country on Thursdays and Fridays as well. Thursdays on the YouTube, Fridays on WQEE. So there you have that. All right, back to what's going on with Major League Baseball, with all the news. If you're just joining us, Colin McHugh is gone. Kirby Yates is gone. Eddie Rosario is gone. All these have been declined. Every single one of them have been declined. Hello to everybody in the chat. Good to see y'all. My friends and family that I'm going to dearly miss y'all during the off season, man. It's not the same every night, being able to catch up with all of y'all. Oh, by the way, if you didn't see this little nugget of news, if you were busy at work or whatnot, the Cubs have hired Craig Counsell as their manager, which means David Ross is gone. And it should be noted, and this could very well come into play. It should be noted that there is a very good chance that Ross is going to get a coaching job somewhere. And you would think that if the Braves do lose someone in all this fold, there could be an opportunity for him to show up in the Braves dugout. So you never know about that. But I've got mixed reactions about Ross. I didn't like when he did the whole Dancing with the Stars stuff. It seemed a little, phony baloney, fake for me. But I do believe that he earned his stripes in the dugout as a manager the last couple of years. And so I've softened, on my take when it comes to him. So with all that being said, we've got if you're just joining us, and I do apologize, I lost the screen on the PSF app. I had to do something on my phone. If you're just joining us, all these have just happened. The Braves, and they officially announced it just moments ago on their Twitter page. The Braves have declined options on Colin McHugh, which is $6 million. Kirby Yates, after the buyout, it's going to be a difference of 4.5, so we're up to 10.5, right? And Eddie Rosario, which is another $9 million. And then you already had, so you're sitting there just over 19, and then you already had the 6.5 coming off the books because of Brad Hand, who was announced yesterday evening. So all in all, about $25 million. Here are the other things that are going on. Atlanta reinstated Colby Allard, Nick Anderson, Yanni Chirinos, Dylan Lee, Tyler Matzik, Michael Soroka, Kyle Wright, and Wasker Yanoa from the 60-day IL, and outrighted Jackson to AAA Gwinnett, and then Jackson Stevens elected free agency after he was sent to AAA Gwinnett. Additionally, the Braves have claimed Angel Perdomo off of waivers from the Pittsburgh Pirates, left-handed reliever. We'll get into that in a second. And as of right now, the Atlanta's 40-man roster is full. Now, a lot of that stuff is going to change as it goes, but that's where we're sitting at right now. In just moments ago was the deadline for everyone to be able to either pick up options, decline options, both for the teams and the players. It was 5 p.m. Eastern today. And something about Angel Perdomo, here's an interesting one on him. He's a big boy. He is 6'8", 265 pounds. Falcons might need to borrow him on Sundays. 6'8", 265 pounds, excuse me. 29 years old. And honestly, pretty interesting numbers here. 30 games he pitched for the Pirates in 2023. 3.72 ERA. 29 innings pitched. 44 strikeouts in those 29 innings. So a high strikeout rate, a low whip at 1.10. Now his career numbers, a little higher than that. Not as impressive. 5.55 ERA. He's only been in the majors since 2020 and originally from the Dominican Republic. I would say that's got a lot to do with it. But that's where we're at right now. Your Atlanta Braves. So we're trying to catch up on all the news that is coming in. Let me refresh. I got a couple of different pages going right now. I just want to make sure we're refreshing. The Blue Jays have offered a qualifying offer for third baseman Matt Chapman. I know that's been a hot name in the chat. Anyone that's got any questions or comments, please fire them away on either the PSF app. You can talk to us on Twitter. You can talk to us on the YouTube chat. All of them. Facebook, you name it. We've got all of them open. If you got any questions or comments, this is the deadline that was set by Major League Baseball at 5:45 on Monday, November 6th, 5 days after the World Series is how it plays out. 5 p.m. Eastern, free agency has officially begun in Major League Baseball. And that's why we chose to come on today at 5. I believe we're going to start picking 5 o'clock as our typical time to come on. There's a lot of factors why, but 5 o'clock live on YouTube and on the PSF app. We will be here every Monday in the off season, and like we mentioned earlier, we will be coming in on the YouTube channel on Thursdays. We will be dropping in on WQEE on Thursday afternoons, and et cetera, et cetera. And then of course, if there's other things that drop, they drop out of nowhere, and we've got time, we're going to jump on and react. So if the Braves make a big trade, if they make a big signing, et cetera, those things are coming. Now, here we go. The Twins have issued a qualifying offer for Sonny Gray. Why is that a big deal? It's not. It wasn't unexpected, but the reason why it is somewhat of a big deal, Sonny Gray is one of the players rumored to possibly be targeted by your Atlanta Braves. 34-year-old. He's from the Nashville, Tennessee area. Played college ball in Nashville at Vanderbilt, and you never know. He may want to come closer to home. He may give. When I say hometown discount, I'm not talking. He's not going to cut his knees out from under him, but you never know. Sonny Gray might decide that he wants to go play for the Braves. I don't know enough about him in his personal life, but if he is a Braves fan growing up, that could be a factor as well. See what here. Robert's saying that the Angels extend Ohtani a qualifying offer. I mean, that was kind of expected. if you're not going to get anything in a trade for Otani, you better at least get a draft pick once it gets scooped up by your crosstown rivals. Going through some of these qualifying offer stuff again, Cody Bellinger, he's heading to free agency. He does have a qualifying offer. Braves declined options on Colin McHugh. The Braves claimed Angel Perdomo. We just talked about the left-hander just a second ago. What else do we have in here? The Blue Jays have acquired left-handed pitcher Brendan Little from the Cubs organization. The Athletics claimed Miguel Andujar. Man, I have not thought of him in a long time. He claimed him off of the Pirates. Phillies offered a qualifying offer on Aaron Nola. All these are expected. Most of them are. Guardians claim Christian Bethancourt. And see, the Marlins, they did exercise the 3.65 club option on utility infielder. And he actually can play outfield as well, though he typically does not, John Birdie. Braves also declined Kirby Yates, if you're just joining us. They declined Eddie Rosario. They did pick up the club option for Charlie Morton. And I would think that they've had a conversation with Charlie and he's coming back. I can't imagine that this is something they just did without having a conversation. So if they're picking up the club option for Charlie Morton, it would tend for me to think that Charlie is coming back. And so he'll be into the fold. This is an interesting one. I saw this earlier today. Adam Ottavino is optioning out of the Mets bullpen. He hasn't been the greatest, but Adam Ottavino has been a serviceable right-hander in that Mets bullpen. So he is on the move. Michael Conforto, we knew this was coming. This one here is just a kick in the grapes is what this is. Michael Conforto exercised, did y'all see this? He exercised his player option on the Giants. I can't believe the Giants, I don't remember this being a part of his deal when he signed last year. His option that he is picking up is $18 million. Michael Conforto, $18 million. Man, oh man alive. You think we were dreading the possibility of paying Eddie Rosario $9 million? Can you imagine Michael Conforto? I know at one point he was looked upon as a great player or a player with a great ceiling. But if you're wondering what he did in 2023, I've got it right here. He batted .239 with 15 home runs. That's it. 58 RBI. And they'll get to bring him back for $18 million. Wow. See, the Cardinals have acquired right-handed pitcher Riley O'Brien from the Mariners. I saw this earlier today. They still haven't updated what they're getting for him, but a lot of this stuff is going to be rolling in. The Cubs have exercised their club option for catcher Yan Gomes. So good news for Cubs fans there. Sean Manaea opted out of the San Francisco Giants contract earlier today. Alex Cobb, the Giants exercised his $10 million option. You can't blame him there. Alex Cobb was pretty darn good this year. Dodgers have exercised their $1 million option on Blake Treinen. I can't believe that he's that cheap. And the Dodgers have declined their $6.5 million option on right-handed reliever Daniel Hudson. And see, what was the other one that we had? Brad Hand, we already talked about. Joe Kelly, the Dodgers declined a $9.5 million club option. He will receive a $1 million buyout. Who the hell what made them think Joe Kelly was going to be worth $9.5 million? And so there you have that catching up, and I'm going to refresh it real quick to make sure I haven't missed anything last couple of minutes. Nah, unless he I don't think Ohtani's coming back. I know a lot of people want Ohtani to go back to the Angels. He's not coming back. Ohtani's going to be a Dodger. Deal with it. Once again, Braves have dropped Rosario off the books, McHugh off the books. They are going to let Hand go. And, Kirby Yates. So $25 million came off the books at 5 p.m. Eastern today. And that was the cutoff. So there you have that. I'm double checking, make sure there hasn't been any other information. I know we're going to get some of this stuff trickle in over the next few days. But when you're looking at the Atlanta Braves and what they've done, freeing up Eddie Rosario means that they can go after a better bat. It'll be interesting to see what their price point is. It really will. It'll be interesting to see what their price point is, because you're not going to get an elite bat for $9 million. You're just not in today's market. But could you put together a couple of guys that could give you the same stuff, and then maybe you hold some of that money at the trading deadline? That's what I'm getting the vibe for, is looking at the trading deadline going forward. What are the options going to be out there when we get to the only problem about this trading deadline in Major League Baseball is it because so many teams are now buyers. Buyers or non-sellers. Because of that, you're going to be talking about a team that you would think would be selling, and they're going to hold on to a guy because they say, hey, what the hell? If it doesn't work out, I'll just put the tag on him. So looking at what's going to be available out there, I'm sure they already have their guys circled. We would love to see Cody Bellinger, right? Please chime into the chat if you'd be on board with some Cody Bellinger. The problem is, what's Cody Bellinger going to bring in? Cody Bellinger, in my estimation, is going to be, look, he's still a young man, which that's the part that I keep forgetting when you talk about Bellinger, because it seems like he's been around forever. He's only in his late 20s. He's probably going to break the bank. I think he's more likely going to end up somewhere like maybe a San Francisco after they swing and miss on Ohtani again. But when you talk about someone that can take over there in the outfield for the Braves, here are the guys that are going to be out there, realistic options. And before anyone starts chiming in with it, no, Ohtani is not a realistic option. He's just not. One of the questions I would like to know is, what are they going to do? Because something's got to give with Vaughn Grissom. You either got to find a place to play him, or you got to trade him. And I'm just not convinced that Atlanta is ready to give him an opportunity. We never really heard a whole lot about him being in the outfield. I thought that was going to be the easiest route, but they may be looking at it as, we can trade him in the offseason for someone who needs an infielder. I'd hate to see it, because I'm a big fan of Vaughn Grissom, but at the same token, it's probably a realistic possibility. Here are some of the names that are out there that you could see in a Braves uniform. Guys like Kevin Kiermaier. Kevin Kiermaier out in left field. Heck of a glove. I'm not really sold on him because his bat and his health have been huge question marks. Rhys Hoskins is a possibility, but probably not a very probable one, because I think Rhys Hoskins, even though he's coming off the year where the surgery that ended his season, the leg injury, and he's still going to be looking for a long-term contract that's probably going to break the bank. So we have to look at guys that are going to be more realistic for the Braves in what they're more likely to spend. And a guy, now here's one that could be an interesting one. Harrison Bader. I don't believe that he's going to bring in a lot of questions as far as money goes. He's a very good defensive player, but what are you going to get out of his bat? Now, he has shown promise from time to time when he's been in good lineups. So he would be in a much better lineup in Atlanta. When he's been in good lineups and surrounded by good hitters, they've gotten really good production out of him. I think the one that everybody has circled that everybody would love to see, well, there's two of them. You don't even need a drum roll for these two, but there's two of them. Jorge Soler and Jock Peterson are both free agents. Jorge opted for free agency. I believe it was Saturday. Would I love to see Jorge Soler back in a Braves uniform? Absolutely. Are we going to be able to bring Jorge Soler in on what he wants to, on what he's expecting to make? That's the big question. Because they're talking about teams like the Angels, the Giants, the Mariners, all being interested in backing up the truck for Soler. And if you were ever going to have the ability to get Soler on a discount, I think it'd be more likely for it to have happened when he hit free agency last time. But the Braves didn't go that route. They decided everything was going to be hunky-dory with Eddie Rosario, and we paid the price. But you look at Soler and what he did this year, and he is, how old is he this year? 31. Through just 504 at-bats, so you're talking about missing close to a month of the season in total. Jorge Soler still put up 36 home runs, an 853 OPS. His WAR wasn't very high, but that's because he was a designated hitter half the time. But he can still play left field. Man alive, can you imagine bringing in Jorge Soler and putting him into that lineup? God bless. I mean, that's all I want for Christmas. I know a lot of folks want to see Jock Peterson come back. First of all, Jock Peterson feels like something that you can't go back twice and do. He just feels like you can't go home again twice. Soler, I think, is someone that's doable. Jock Peterson with the pearls and all that kind of stuff. To me, that was literally the lightning in the bottle guy. As far as when you talk about the guy that gives you everyday good at bats, damn good at bats, a high OPS, power, solid in left field, man, Jorge Soler just seems like the perfect option. And the thing about, and you can't just slide him into the designated hitter role because you got Ozuna there. By the way, Ozuna, we've got an option on him for 2025. So Ozuna, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Guy that's out there belting 40 home runs, unless he falls off a cliff next year. Guy that's out there belting 40 home runs, I think he's going to be just fine. We're looking into this free agency class. There are guys like JD Martinez who are going to be out there. And you can put JD Martinez in left field. You could also go back and forth of putting JD Martinez and Ozuna back and forth between left field and DH so that you don't wear either one of them down. And JD Martinez, when he was healthy, was phenomenal. But I don't think that's a likely target for the Braves. One of the other guys that the folks have rumored us to be involved in would be Teoscar Hernandez. And Hernandez is another one of those batters, and you could get him probably much cheaper than Soler. He's another one of those batters that I really think that you would be able to fit into the outfield. What to me, as many runs as this Braves offense puts up, I don't think it would be a terrible idea to go into 2024 with the left field position wide open. And I'm talking about letting guys like Forrest Wall compete. Maybe there's a spot there for Vaughn Grissom to be able to go out there and play some defense in left field. We haven't seen it pointed in that direction, but you never know what their offseason plans could be. And you go in and you signed, I don't believe Pilar wants to come back because I believe Pilar wants to go play every day. But you go and you sign, I'm using him as an example, but you go and sign another Kevin Pilar type, a guy that you believe is going to give you good at bats from the right-hand side of the plate. You save a little money in the front end, but when you get to the trading deadline, you're able to absorb a contract off a team that has, even if they haven't given up, they're ready to save some money. And that could be one of the things that the Braves want to do. But I honestly, before I even worry about left field, we have got to get another starting pitcher. Sonny Gray is the one that I have circled. He's the one that I want because he's steady. But the biggest question is going to be, how much is he going to ask for? He is 34, but he also went out there and threw an ERA of below 3 this year. He's a guy that I've always said he's always been on teams that hasn't got any damn run support. You put Sonny Gray on a team like the Atlanta Braves, he could be a 15, 20 game winner every single year of his contract. I can't imagine they would go more than 3 years. I also can't imagine that Sonny Gray is going to sign a deal for less than 3 years. Think he's going to be shooting for 4. I don't think 5 is realistic at 34 years old. Think he's going to be shooting for 3 or 4. I think the Braves could bring him in for 3 years. And he would be, man, oh man, you talk about having a veteran presence. You're talking about having Sonny Gray, Charlie Morton, Max Fried, assuming they don't trade him, and that is still a possibility. But assuming that all that stuff comes in, you could be talking about one nasty rotation, and we've got to have a deeper rotation. Look, I understand that we're going to have Hurston Waldrop. We're going to have A.J. Smith-Shawver. Those guys are going to be competing for a spot in the rotation. Darius Vines. Obviously, assuming that there's no trade, we're going to have Max Fried. We're going to have Bryce Elder. We're going to have Spencer Strider. But as we have seen in the last couple of years, whether it's sickness, injury, whatever the hell, we need to have about 7 dogs that we can count on heading towards October. Obviously, you're not going to have an entire payroll loaded up with 7 starting pitchers. You're never going to talk them all into playing on the same team. They're going to be, what are you nuts? Where am I going to get my starts from? But when you can have guys like Waldrop and Shawver and Vines and other guys that we continue to develop, when you have all these guys coming in and chipping in, they are the ones that are going to help spell us down the stretch so that Max Fried is healthy, Strider's healthy. You know, even though he got bombed in the playoffs, Bryce Elder had a great start to the year. And he was very bad in the back half of the year. Never should have been the starter in game 3. But that's not the point. The point is, he's been really healthy. He's been a horse. So you got to have a backup plan because you can't just assume that all these guys are going to go to the post every damn year. I mean, every day throughout the year, because you never know when one of these guys, their shoulder inflammation, they're going to shut them down. Going to shut them down for 2 weeks. That means you got to restart them. I mean, anytime they shoulder inflammation, no matter what they try to tell you, it ends up being what? Bare minimum of 4 to 6 weeks. So they're going to have more options going down the stretch. They're going to have they've got the Charlie Morton. He's coming back. Unless they make a trade, and I still brace myself for that, because there's a real possibility that Max Fried, going into his final year of his contract, that the Braves are just going to go, look, man, we know you're not re-signing with us, so what the hell? We don't want to get caught flat-footed. We don't want to be the Angels and let Shohei Ohtani go. That's exactly what you'd be looking at. Max Fried walks away, and all you get is a draft pick, assuming you didn't add a World Series. Now, look, if we win the World Series next year, it was worth it. Even if we win the pennant and fall short in the World Series, it was worth it. But I think Anthopoulos would most likely be hedging his bets and say, I'd rather get a little younger at the starting position area. Let's send Max Fried off. Let's get a couple of younger arms, and let's go spend some money in free agency. Because if you go that route, and if you were to trade Max Fried, and the latest number I saw was just over 14. So think about this for a moment. What if you have 14 more million? So we're talking about close to 40 million that you would be moving off. You could get a pretty darn good starting pitcher at that rate. Now, obviously, the killer part of that thing is you'd be losing one of the best left-handed pitchers in baseball. But he hasn't stayed healthy both times in the postseason the last 2 years. He's hurt us, not helped us. And at some point, this is a business, and the Braves are looking at, we got to get more W's. We got to get more W's in the postseason. I can't do this anymore. I mean, come on. You're the best team in baseball. You can't go into October, go, well, that was nice. We've won 2 playoff games in the last 2 Octobers. 2. We haven't won a game on the road in October since 2021. By the way, the teams that have received qualifying offers real quick: Ohtani, Bellinger, Sonny Gray, Aaron Nola, Blake Snell, Josh Hader, and Matt Chapman. So there's your recap on that, and real quick, in case you missed it, you may very well have missed it. The Atlanta Braves have picked up the option for Charlie for 20 this year. They declined the option for 9 with Eddie. They declined the option for Colin McHugh, which was 6. They declined the option for Brad Hand, which had a $500,000 buyout, but it still saves him $6.5 million. And Kirby Yates has also been declined. So about $25 million. About $25 million is what we have saved. And then we will be back anytime some news breaks. We're going to be here on Monday nights, 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be here on Thursdays on Monday nights, we will be on the PSF app, YouTube, we'll be on Facebook, and we will also be on WQEE the following day on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we will be on YouTube. We'll be on WQEE. And we will replay the show that Monday for those on WQEE that may have missed it. All right. We're going to go ahead and get out of here today. Y'all have a great day. A lot of moving and shaking. And I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about by the time we reconvene our Braves talk on Thursday. Double checking real quick, make sure nothing else is broken. And that's it. Charlie Morton will stay. Randy Rosario gone. And I know some folks might be sad by this, but if you watch the day in and day out of the Atlanta Braves in 2023, you were ready to see Eddie go. Y'all have a great day, y'all.
You're in Braves country.